Somebody say, you better watch God now. Watch God. Watch God. Be seated in the presence of the Lord. Let's get it. I felt the prophetic flow coming. Let me just get in His word. You don't want to miss this word. Tell somebody, don't miss this word. There is, I'm not going to give everybody the amount of people in here because folk will be saying we're going to get sick. Look at your neighbor and say, put your mask on. And go to your Facebook account and open your Facebook account up so that you can be live. Turn it down. Don't look at it. Like and share this message to your page. Do that with me. All those who are watching, do the same thing. Share it to your page. You share everything else to your page. Don't be shaming your preacher. I wouldn't have a preacher I couldn't share. Prophet. Listen, share me with your favorite preacher. Come on, do that. Because I know y'all got favorite preachers. Favorite prophets. Go with me to Genesis real quickly, and I want to delve into this. It is 11:45. I want to take the next 30, 40 minutes, no later than 12:30. Let you go. And I want to talk about living through regret. Living through regret. And I want you to put in parentheses a hard reset. Genesis 6, and I want to read it from both versions. Dave is mind-blowing. Both versions, the King James and then the Message Bible. And it repented the Lord that He had made man on the earth, and it grieved Him at His heart. The Lord says, I repent that I made man. Then the Message Bible says, He said, and God was sorry, right, that He made the human race in the first place, and it broke His heart. He was sorry. He repented. One version, the Amplified version, says God regretted that He made man. He regretted that He made man. That's what this word repentance means in the Hebrew. Powerful piece here, and I want to talk and teach so it can help us. Amen. We all have regrets. And I'm calling this whole series tied to living through regrets, corporate therapy. On Friday night, for those of you who were not here for the night on the altar, the most profound part of Friday night, prayer was good, but the most profound part of prayer was the breakout groups. And to hear people process and talk about how the pandemic, the last 19, 20 months, in January, because really the virus came to the country in November, December, January. So in a few weeks, it'll be 24 months. People were already dying. They just was not recorded as the coronavirus. People was already sick, didn't know what they had. People were going to the doctor with the same symptoms, and they didn't know what was wrong with them. And so I knew people who were sick for 2 weeks and went back and forth to the doctor, and they didn't have a diagnosis at that time. And so for 2 years, many people have had to process pain. And when you lose people through sickness, death that leads to death, and all the hurt and all the pain, you start really dealing with regret. In context, you start thinking, what if I had done this? I could have handled this a certain way. If I had it to do over again, you know the language. And so regret is a very real emotion. And we have all kinds of regrets. So what was so profound to me is that God himself has a regret. Nobody's ever told me God regretted some things. How can God, who knows the beginning and the end, knows everything, who is sovereign, who is omnipotent, who's everywhere at the same time, who is the creator, who can't be defined, whose ear, who's just what he does, you think in terms of he's irreversible. But if he knows what's going to happen before it happened, how could he make something or do something and then regret doing it? How can he do that? How can he be God and have a regret? Regret seems to be human, not divine. But clearly in this verse here, the Lord made something and then looked at it and regret that he made it. I'm in the book. Clearly. So if God has a regret, what excludes me from him? If God can have a regret and move on, is this God saying, question, is this God saying I made a mistake? How you saying no? You don't even know. It was a question. How you saying no so quick? Because that's what regret is. Regret is, maybe I should have done it a little differently. Y'all ain't saying nothing. That the divine one is saying that I'm not sure about how I did that. Oh, y'all. I'll never forget. Sister Charlene is here. She had 3 grandchildren who died at the same time. Never forget. Right here, first time in my 42 years of preaching that I eulogized 3 young girls at the same time. The oldest of them was 16. And it was then I was sitting in my living room, never forget it, the night before. I labored all night long. God, what do I say to this family? Because surely I can't say he picks flowers and he wants flowers in heaven. Surely I can't say, live with the, it's going to be all right. I can't say that shallow stuff. There's other words for that. I guess I'm still at Mellow Mushroom. The men had a good time last night. It was powerful, powerful. Thank you, brothers. But we had an after party, too, in the parking lot. You guys missed it. You didn't tell nobody, did you, Paul? Okay. But I can remember that night, Renee, as I was preparing to eulogize your nieces. God clearly spoke to me that it's all right to question me. Because if God can regret a thing, does it ceases or make him cease to be God? Is the question. How can I trust a God who has regrets? And clearly, he said, I repented. If you read the previous, I want you to read this week because the first 7 verses, clearly says why he regretted that he made man. What sticks out here, he says that man is just wicked and crazy. Read it. Read it. This is why you're supposed to read scripture just about every day so you can discover something new, even in old places. He said, these folk are crazy. Can I take my time? He said, these folk are crazy. I'm going somewhere in a minute. He said, these folk crazy. I done made these folk, and they done forgot about me. Their imagination is just all jacked up. I gave them the imagination, but they using it for all kinds of other stuff. Don't be mad with them, because they sound like us. And the reason Jesus came is so that he don't have to do this again. And so the first 7 verses or the 6 verses, he's like, these folks crazy. I regret I made them. He says it twice. I think it's the 11th verse. Go to the 6 and 11 or 6 and 17. But let's go to the 11th verse first. Yeah, 11. I think it's 11. Let's go to 11 and see what it says there. And God, and the earth was also so corrupt before God, and the earth was just filled with violence. 12th verse. This thing is so crazy because God literally had a regret. And if God can have a regret, you and I can have regrets. And it be okay. He looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. All flesh had corrupted his ways. Tell somebody God had a regret. Go to Genesis 25 and 30 before I delve into this. I want to just lay the foundation that you're going to discover something in the next 20 or 30 minutes about living through regrets. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. This is Esau. I don't want to read the whole story because you're familiar with it for the sake of time. That Esau sells his birthright, gives his birthright because he's faint. And Esau, after he loses his birthright, after he loses the firstborn blessing to Jacob, he wept sorely, basically regretting his decision in the moment. I'll come back to that in a minute. Regretting his decision in the moment. Regretting that he has thought so presumptuously in the moment. His emotions drove him to a permanent regret. Something that changed his life forever. Because faintness is a momentary situation. He could have ate or drank water and satisfied his faintness. But in the moment, he gave in to his emotions, to his mind, to his heart, to his condition. Look at somebody and say, don't give in to your condition. Oh, God, no, sir. Don't give in to your conditions, because you make a whole lot of crazy decisions like we all have. And so Esau regretted his decision. Long term, he regrets. And this is what Esau did. Esau regrets what he gives to Jacob and then want to kill Jacob. Regret will make you angry. Regret will make you blame other people when it was your own personal regret. Let's talk about the type of regrets. Somebody say, help us, preacher. You ready? Relationships. Not leaving him or there or her. There and her, about the same thing, ain't it? I ain't talking about marriage. I'm talking about before you got married, you had signs. See, that's what we don't like to admit. The signs were there, but you were so desperate. Oh, I ain't preaching today. I'm going to talk today because I got to get this out. This is a divine assignment. You ought to tell everybody, all your friends on your Facebook, tell them to follow this message because it's going to be life-changing. Somebody say, I regret some of the people I hooked up with. I regret some of the people I didn't leave. Very real emotion. Career choices. You remember you was in high school, you had these dreams, you're going to be Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, O.J. Simpson, somebody famous, Michael Jordan. You could shoot from the free throw, and you did pretty good. And they started telling you, you're going to be the next Michael Jordan. And you started believing it in your head. Lost opportunities. Opportunities that you did not discern was God shifting your life. And because you were distracted in a bad relationship, distracted with a person, place, or thing. Because some things that we regret ain't a person, it's a place. You ever been in the wrong place, stayed too long? The grace was not on the place anymore. Your peace was gone. You're trying to build somewhere where God says time to go. It's over. And because you stayed so long in a place that did not provide life, didn't provide vitality, didn't open your dreams up, didn't open you up, didn't expand your creativity and your innovation, and you lost opportunities. Said, because whenever you're distracted with wrong stuff and wrong people and wrong places, you end up saying the wrong thing. I was talking to someone, I said, we need to connect the dots. It's not that you didn't have the opportunities. It wasn't that you could not have maximized the moment. You were so distracted with the wrong person in your life. And people are spirits. And when the wrong person is in your life, it's like a wrong spirit is in your life. And wrong people and wrong spirits and wrong situations make you say stuff that you say to yourself, what? Because you're under a spirit. You're convinced. I ain't saying nothing. This is why you know when you're the right person, the right spirit make you do the right thing, make you say the right thing, make you think the right way. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Right spirits elevate you and push you to places, but you know good and well that you're influenced by the wrong spirit, wrong person, when you start saying stuff that you even say to yourself, what made you say that? And often we don't connect the dot to the people that's around us. Have you ever seen people, as soon as the wrong individual came to their life just unravels and fall completely apart? They don't even connect the dots that it was a spirit they opened up the door to in their heart, in their life. And listen, the person don't work on your job, the person don't even go to your job, but they cause you to lose your job. Spirits. It's better to be alone than to have the wrong spirit in your life. You ever regretted who you married? Oh, God. The church is so religious that we ain't spiritual enough to talk about all these jacked up marriages. The church pushed people to get married when they're not ready to be married. Just to say we have a sinless church, ain't no such thing. So you can float your boat and be proud. Everybody in my church, none of them hop and hip and go around. That's a lie. Every church in America got a hipper and a hopper. All these babies being born and folk ain't married. Somebody doing something. Oh, y'all look at it. Don't talk to me like that with that look. It's funny to me that, Sister Charlene, all these folk just forget when they get old. They forget they had 2 children out of wedlock. And then be looking at the women like, you ought to keep your stuff up. Yeah, you didn't keep yours up. Tell her how to keep it up after you tell her the mistakes you made. Don't be so self-righteous looking at her like, oh, you ain't never made that mistake. Tell about those 2 marriages that you messed up. Come on. Tell her about all those people that listen, you didn't walk down the aisle, but you were married. Y'all ain't saying nothing because you don't talk about the folk you live with. Come on, I can tell you, I can look at you right now and tell you if you're living together with somebody. You think you living with them and the preacher don't know? I'm a prophet. Oh, you thought you were hiding? You can't hide from your pastor. Not your real pastor. You can hide from that TV preacher, but you can't hide from me. We all got regrets. Bad relationships. Or, see, because marriage is a beautiful thing. Watch this. You ever regret who you let walk out of your life? You were too wild to keep them. Too wise to know that God sent them. Oh, ain't nobody gonna talk to me. You ever let the wrong thing walk out of your life? Oh, y'all ain't talking to me. As soon as you see him or her with somebody else, you tripping. Trying to size her up, how he with her. He with her because you gave him away. She's with him because you didn't value him. Nobody's talking back to me. You ever regret not holding on to that good thing? Now he or she is balling and you just whoosh, you were there. Because he had a tooth missing, so you just wasn't going to deal with that tooth missing out of his front mouth. He was driving a Volkswagen. You just got to have somebody with an Escalade. He don't know how to wear his clothes. Look at his shoes. It's just look at his feet, but he got money. Value you and respect you. Y'all ain't talking to me. As soon as you hook up with that old guy that you thought was the one, right? Pop you around a time or two. The first image come up is that joker that walked out on you. You know, you're like, God, I should have held on to him. Whoa, ain't nobody talking back to me. These are real regrets. Look at your neighbor and say, I regret letting some stuff go that I should have held on to. Come on, talk to him. Oh, y'all, see, religion won't let you be honest. You ever regret not following your dreams? Everybody there, so this is what everybody who you sit around and make decisions predicated upon them. You make decisions about your own personal life predicated upon them, and then one day they wake up and get this epiphany and say, I'm going to do this, and you say, well, what about me? Because I made a decision predicated upon your presence. And they're making a decision predicated upon their dreams. Look at somebody and say, you better follow your dreams. If there's things you want to do, ain't no sense you turning 70 putting 2 earrings in your ear and then, you know, letting the convertible down like you 42. Come on. I need you to tell somebody I'm not too old to follow my dreams. But you don't want to be arrested in your development. You don't want to try to relive. It's hard to relive. I told you the other day, some things you're age out of now. Some of y'all, you don't know what that means. In other words, you get too old to do certain things. Relocating when you had an opportunity to relocate. Staying in an abusive relationship. What? He or she ain't changing. Most of the time, when you're in an abusive situation, they ain't changing while you're there. Most of the time, they have to live with you being their regret. I'm finding out you can't fix or heal people who don't want to be healed or fixed. Over obligation to people who don't value you or your opinion. David, Pastor Wilson, will you look at that for me? Read that so folk will know I didn't just write that down.
Over obligation to people who don't value you or your opinion.
Or your opinion. If you stay in situations where people don't value you and value your opinion, you will live to regret that you stayed. You got too much to offer than to be offering it to people who are going to give it back to you. You are a pearl. You got pearl of information. You got pearl of revelation. You got love that's in your heart that's ready to just ooze out and give it to somebody who would value it. Why give that valuable love to people and that opinion to people who don't want it and they don't value you? You have to now, listen, it's better to hold on to your love, oh God, than to give it to people who don't care about your love. It is, listen, so hold on to it and wait for the right people, right situations to walk in your life who will beg for what's inside of you. As I look at my life, I gave my opinion and my feelings and my emotions to people who gave me their Listen to this old man now. I'm talking to you. They say something I got off the internet. God showed me, said, I have regrets. Help people to get past their regrets because I got past mine. God got past his regrets. I'm going to tell you how he did it in a minute. Look at your neighbor and say, you can get past your regrets. See, because folk like to hold you hostage to your failures and your mistakes. But what I want to come to do is not worry about what folk do. I want you to be held no more by your regrets and your failures and your mistakes. You need to get past it if God can get past his regret. Look at somebody and say, I can get past mine. If the divine one can look at himself and say to himself that I don't know if I would do it that way again. Surely if I come out of God, that means that the propensity and the possibilities of me making mistakes is very real. If God made me and he has a regret, that means it is normal to have a regret, but it's abnormal to not or to hold on to them and not get past them, because even the divine one made a decision to say, even though I repented and regretted that I made man, I'm going to get past it because I got other stuff to do. I wish I could preach here. Look at somebody and say, I got something else to do. I got other places to go. I got other people I got to meet. I wish I could preach here. Look at somebody and say, I got regrets, but I got another assignment. Oh, God, I wish I could teach and preach this. You ever had a regret? You settled for the lack of peace. You let jokers steal your peace while they have peace. And as we come through this this pandemic, this whole understanding of getting past the pain of the last 24 months is essential, because you got too much to do. You got too many other things you got in your spirit. You got to find a way to have some therapy to deal with the past and deal with your pain. But one thing you got to settle in your mind, that for the rest of your life, I ain't living with something that steals my peace. And if it don't bring peace, you can't live here, because Jesus says that if they don't receive you, kick the dust off your feet. Look at your neighbor and say, and take your peace with you. Look at somebody and say, take your peace with you. I wish I was a gospel preacher, because there comes a time in your life, we have painted the picture of an easy laying because he was laid and born in a manger. We think he's a manger on that cross, but when Jesus got up that cross, y'all ain't saying nothing, he was the Lion of Judah. And sometimes lions have to make a decision and say, there's some things I ain't gonna let you have. You can have my money, you can, matter of fact, you stole some time from me, but I'm making up my mind from this moment on in my life that because I got something to do, you can't have my peace, because I wrestled for this peace, I prayed for this peace, I fasted for this peace. You can't steal my peace. You can have my shoes, you can have my socks, you can have a little of my money, but one thing I cannot let you have for the rest of my life is my peace. Let me help you now. People don't change that much. They stealing your peace now, they'll steal it for the rest of their life. It's something how some of these peace stealers live to be 100, and they take good people who live to be 72. Y'all ain't saying nothing. You let your children steal your peace because you will not. You're so addicted to them because you're afraid that if they go, nobody else come in. Sometimes people can't come in because of the stuff you got holding on to, including some of these children. Stealing your peace kill you and live and laugh and spend the insurance money. Look at somebody and say, I can't let you steal my peace. Have my joy. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Look at your neighbor and say, stop giving your money away to the peace stealers. Go on a cruise and live your life. Go do something with your life and have some fun. Your whole uptight religious self, get some Jesus and have a good time, and tell your daughters and your sons, I'm giving you to the first of the year. Get out, find yourself somewhere to live, because when I come back here, I want my house to myself. I gotta have, ain't nobody talking to me. That 27, 28, 30-year-old child got they stealing all your peace and your money, and you somewhere miserable and unhappy. You'll regret it if you don't make a decision. Somebody say a hard reset. Oh God, I got to get to this in a minute. I got to get to it. Watch this, gonna kill you now. Have you ever regret spending your whole life making others happy while you're miserable? Calling it God. You're not going to like the piece I'm developing on the lies religion told me. Making others happy at your expense. You walk around with a long face and an empty pocket and no savings account, and everybody else grinning and skinning. Somebody got to talk to me. I know what I'm talking about. Making others happy and calling that God. Well, you know, I'm serving God. That ain't serving God. That's religion. Everybody laughing while you crying. I ain't coming to nobody who don't ask me to come. You don't want no counseling? I'm not volunteering none, because when you volunteer and then you give it and then it don't work out the way they want it to work, then they blame you. No, I ain't coming. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I ain't finna make myself a mat for people who don't want my shoes. They don't want my wisdom. They don't want, no, sir. Ain't you tired of chasing behind people who don't even want to be chased? Everybody's just jumping while you stuck. Borrow your money while doing what they want to do with theirs. Ain't nobody talking to me. You know why y'all didn't respond? Because just pat yourself, say, yeah, I did that. You spending your tithe and they don't even go to church. Let me say it again. You spending your tithe that you're supposed to give to God to a joker who ain't studying your God. At least if you're going to spend the tithe, spend it on somebody who come into church with you. Oh, y'all ain't seeing me. Anybody got to talk? I got to move on because y'all going to be mad by the time, because it's good. It's good. Have you ever regretted, the last one I have here, have you ever regretted not getting all the information? Ain't nobody talking to me. And found out afterwards they hid the information. You didn't get all the information. They didn't tell all the truth. And you done reacted, overreacted, underreacted, and most of the time overreacted to a little of the information and not all of the information. You let somebody pull you out of into something, and here it is, you way out here to find out they just flat out lied to you. Got to get to the meat of this message. And there are regrets here. There's regrets here. All through the pandemic, you regret some stuff. Past the pandemic, you regretted. Before the pandemic, you got regret. We got all kinds of regrets. There's some things you need to do now before you get sick. Because the pandemic has taught me you will get sick. Because most folk are not going to do the right thing to keep from getting sick, so they're going to watch all these people die and still not try to get healthy. But we're going to get sick. So you might as well go ahead and live, because you're going to get sick, or we're all going to die eventually. Some will die at 100, some will die sooner. Life is short. Even if you live 100 years, that's a short life compared to what God's perfect will is for us. Look at your neighbor and say, it is his will for you to live and not die. I wish I could preach here. So we all have regrets, right? Look at three people and say, we all have regrets. The most profound thing that I saw in this, Shan, is this. That with this one regret, God did something very difficult. He got rid of everybody and started over. That's a hard reset. Oh, God, I wish somebody would catch that revelation. That sometimes to deal with your regret, you got to start over. But it's a hard reset now. Look at it. He got rid of everybody. And there are times when it's time to move forward. You got to do a hard reset of the past. So what does that look like in the 21st century? What does that look like in 2021, October, whatever date it is? What does that look like for us? For some, in terms of a hard reset, meaning, okay, we know that God eliminated the whole race. That's how he dealt with his regret. So we know one thing from this principle. Somebody say it's a principle. That there's some people you got to get rid of. See, you see how you don't respond? Because you want to go forward while holding on to people who are your regret. because he destroyed man because man was his regret. And there's some people in your life, because most regrets, 99.9.10%, if there's a such thing, most of our regrets is tied to the people that we've invited into our lives. We wasted time with people. Oh God, I wish so in order to move past the regret, I have to wrap my mind around a hard reset. It was hard for God to get rid of everybody. It was hard for God to be able to say, listen, in order for me to find a future with a new creature, I got to get rid of what I made originally. It's in the book. A hard reset. Why are you tied to people who, if they destroyed yesterday and they ain't changed, they're going to destroy you tomorrow? Talk to me. Facebook, YouTube. It's a hard reset. This is one of the things that one of my men that I mentor, we were discussing in this subject, same subject several months ago. And I need you to hear me, millennials. I need you got the creativity, you got the innovation, you got the talent, you got all these great things going for you. But one of the things that I'm realizing, you don't know how to bounce back. There's something about your ability to have a hard reset. There's something we didn't give you. There's something we didn't pass down to you. Your inability to deal with pressure and problems. Your inability to deal with, adversity, crises. I see it in so many millennials. So you listen, disconnecting from the baby boomer is probably the worst thing you could ever do, because you have something we need, which is the innovation and the creativity and the ability to be artistic and all those other things, brother Martez. You are a millennial, but what you can pull from me, if you value who I am, is my ability to reset, my ability to deal with pain, my ability to deal with pressure, my ability to deal with criticism, my ability to deal with failure, my ability to deal with I failed but I got back up. So maybe when you get around a father or some mother that's standing here, maybe you need to ask them a question. How did you reset? How did you deal with that regret? How did you make it? How were you able to go and do all those mishaps? How could you deal with all these succinct pain after pain, situation after situation? What gave you the grace to do that? And maybe if we partner your skills and your creativity with my ability to sustain through the grace of God, then we all see the necessity for one another. I need you to high five somebody that says a hard reset. I wish I could preach here. Oh, I wish I was a people. I wish you saw the value of this message. Watch what he says. He says, now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But who and what do you need to get rid of? Watch this. This is where my generation comes in. Can you move forward while people are hurting over your decision? Because if you can't, you'll never move forward. You don't have to be mean. This just don't work. I don't feel it. My time is up. Y'all don't like this. Tell your neighbor you can get past that. But it's a hard reset. Millennials, young people, all y'all in between, the traditional, the baby boomer, all you guys, no matter what category, it's a hard reset. These are principles that no matter when you were born, where you were born, what age you are, that are true throughout ancient years. You have to have some hard resets, daughter, in your life in order to move forward. There's some people who you have to become their regret. You have to become their regret. I wish somebody would help me here. Yeah. Watch this. Now, write this down. Write this down. Y'all ready? The reason you have to get over you, to get past and through your regret, right? Because I'm going to give you the definition of regret, and it'll speak for itself. Living backwards. Regret is no more than living backwards. God decided, I made something that I don't like, and he said, I can't live backwards because I'm God. Let us make man, future. I can't live backwards. Regret is living backwards. Can't walk backwards along and make progress. Nobody's got to talk to me. Tell somebody, I will not live backwards from this moment on. God Almighty. I wish I could preach up in here. God, I wish I had a church. You can't live backwards no more. You can't live at what ifs no more. So number two, I can't live backwards. Number three, let me tell you what he did. Number one now, he got rid of that stuff. Number two, he said, I'm not going to live backwards. Number three, now this is going to kill you because y'all ain't going to like this now. But God spoke to me when I was developing this, Brother Moore, when God was talking to me. He said to me, I need you to get this. Daughters, really get this. Men who've had failures in their life, though I have a regret, it didn't reduce me being God. That though you have a regret, it doesn't take away who you are. I still am God, though I have a regret. You still chosen, though you have a regret. You still divine, though you have a regret. Because what regret does, when you live backwards, you live in guilt. When you live backwards, you live in shame. When you live backwards, you live in the mistake mode of your life. If God had a regret and had to get past it, then you and I can get past it if we learn from what God is saying today. It never changed who he was. I'm still a creator. God Almighty. I'm still the Father of the heavens and the earth. I'm still in complete control. Though I have a regret. I need you to write this down. My regrets don't reduce me. God, I wish I could preach this. My regrets don't reduce me. I'm still worth. I still have identity. I'm still divine, the image and the likeness of God. I'm still significant, the image and the likeness of God. Regret does not reduce who you are. You're still chosen and picked of God. You're still loved of God, beloved of him. You still are in his bosom. He still sits at the right hand of the Father, making intercession for you and I. He still loves you. He still has a plan for you. Doesn't matter about what your regret is. It never changed who he was. Watch this. It's in the text. The next thing he does after getting rid of that past regret, he looks and finds him a Noah. Tell somebody, don't stop looking. Oh, I wish somebody would catch it. Don't you stop looking. Yeah, you got to regret. Rise up, deal with the past, but don't you stop looking. He still found himself a man that he could use, choose, do something in. He's looking. But now you got to understand, he's looking for Jesus. He's looking for his son. He's looking for the Christ. And I'm telling you, if you can be awakened this very moment and get past your regret, you will You'll find what you're looking for if you keep on looking. I wish I could preach here. The anointing is on you. The glory is on you. The grace of God is on you. There is still, let me put my hands in my pocket before I get too excited, because I want you to know that you can live past your mistakes, and that you're not your mistake, and you're not your regret. Own it, embrace it. But guess what? I'm still gonna look. I told another young man the other day, you either fight or flight. Tell somebody, I'm a fighter. If God didn't stop looking, though he had to destroy all of his past, I still looking for a Noah. I'm still looking for an Abraham. I'm still looking for an Isaac. I'm still looking for a Jesus. Look at your neighbor and say, and he found it. You got to keep on looking. Rise up, oh woman of God. Rise up, oh man of God. Yes, you've been married 3 times. I'm in the book. Yes, oh woman at the well. Jesus told his apostles, he said, I must needs go to Samaria. Why? Because there's a woman been married 5 times. And I just got to go tell her, don't you stop looking. I'm going to preach it here. There is a husband for you. There is a wife for you. There is money for you. There's a business for you. Tell your neighbor, get past your regrets. I don't care if you got 6 children by 2 different men. There's still a man there that will value you and appreciate you. But you got to understand, ain't nothing changed God's mind about your regrets. Look at somebody and say, I am not my regrets. I am the future. I refuse to live backwards. Tell somebody, I ain't walking backwards no more. I'm going to walk forward. And if you hold my regret against me, that's between you and the devil. Because God don't hold my regret. I was going to preach it here. I come to tell you that he's the balm of Gilead. He will heal you for your future. He's the one that will lift your head and give you a praise maple. It doesn't matter what. All of us got regret. But tell somebody, I am not my regret. I will not live backwards. I'll live forward just like God did. God, I wish I was a preacher. Watch where I'm going. If you made some mistakes, oh Lord have mercy. If the person is still alive and your mistake wounded them, they still alive, you still alive. That's God's grace for you no longer to live backwards. Apologize and move forward. You need to write this down. There is a power in apology. Regret, getting past your regret is not living in denial of the pain that you may have caused someone. The apology is your freedom. I'm finding out, psalmist, that we're too proud in many cases to apologize. Our arrogance keeps the future from coming to our lives. Sometimes you just got to pick up that phone and say, hey, I got to meet you. I need to meet you. And say, listen, the only reason I want to, I got it, because it's ready. It's time for me to now live forward. And you're a part of my backwardness. Oh, God, I wish I would value this word. You're a part of my backwardness. When I go to pray, I'm thinking backwards. I'm always thinking about that thing in the back of my mind. So I don't want to live backwards no more. So I got to sit you down and humble myself and just say, I'm sorry, because I got to live forward now. Look at somebody and say, the power of an apology. Don't live in denial, because denial keep you backwards. Oh, I'm giving you something today. This is God talking to you. This is not Victor Powell. I couldn't have made this up. Sometimes your forwardness is a phone call away, a coffee cup away. Some apologies don't need to be made over the phone. Copper outer, you face it. You look them straight in the eye. You say, well, I'm going to be humiliated. That's what humility is. It's a moment of humiliation, but it'll so get you moving forward. Oh, God. Look at your neighbor and say, I refuse to live backwards anymore. And let somebody hold my future over my head. Look at somebody and say, the blood, the blood, the blood. Let me tell you now, power of apology. I got to close. 3 more minutes. Watch this. Watch this. You're not finna talk to them because you're expecting an apology in return. Get in your spirit, no apology necessary. This ain't for them. This is for you. This is for your prayer life. This is for your contract. This is for your new house. This is for your new husband or new wife. This is for your open doors. This is for your freedom inside. This is for your peace. This is for your power with God. This is for your moving forward. This is for you to live unoffended. This is so you won't have to live backwards no more, brother. Live forward. This is so that you can be free of your depression. Could it be that many of us are oppressed because we won't just say we're sorry? Let me give you 3 more things. Number one, action steps. Ask the Lord what good am I to get out of my regret? Number 2, accept some of your immature decisions and say, I won't waste them. They only waste it if I don't develop through them. And often, Sister Pierre, we only have to repeat them if I don't learn from them. A dear friend of mine said for 25 years, no experience wasted. Write that down. Number 3, self-forgiveness is being wiser. I never tied wisdom to forgiveness. Self-forgiveness, forgiving yourself comes from I'm wiser. I've learned from this. I've grown from this. That's a sign of self-forgiveness. When you can say to yourself, I don't pray and think about my mistakes as much as I used to. I don't live backwards. Number 4, how can my regret be somebody else's promise? The church university, we got too many secrets. And sometimes you have to share your pain and your growth sprouts and your regrets with others so your regret becomes their development. They'll be telling you thank you. In other words, you took your regret and made it a powerful promise in their life. If you'll practice this, you don't have to fall in that hole. There's so much more in this thing that I got to stop. I got to stop. I got to stop. It didn't stop God from looking. Oh, he had regrets. And it didn't change him being God. Oh, I wish somebody would get that. I'm almost sure why God dropped that in my spirit. Because sometimes when you have regrets, it makes you think that God's going to throw you out with the bathwater. if he regretted and had to start over and stop living backwards, he'll give me the power to. I was telling the young men at the after party last night, I have more peace in my life now than I ever did. And I know it's grace. Some stuff I've aged out of. And some stuff I just don't want to do no more. I'm tired of living backwards. You can't move forward until you get tired of living backwards. The reason that you got to go to some people, now all this religious stuff, get that out your mind. The Lord gonna show them to apologize to me. Let me help you. I discovered this. Some folks don't even know you're mad with them. This is I found this out. Don't assume because you're angry at them or you're mad with them that they know that you are. But the healing power of the Holy Spirit is here today. Come on, lift those hands and receive. You know, we don't talk about how men get breast cancer too. It's interesting. Lift your hands right now. Come on, all over this building. Those who are still watching, I pray that you didn't get off. Come on. Every person that's in this room, that this moment, you acknowledge through the power of the Holy Spirit that to some degree of your life you've lived backwards. I need you to stand right now. And if you're watching us, I want you to do something that indicate on that screen that even this day, I no longer will live backwards. Somebody else might be back there holding on to your stuff. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. His grace, his love, his power is present here. If you didn't hear his love in this message, that even God himself had to get past his regret. Lift your hands and just worship him now. And receive the power of the Holy Spirit. Receive the glory of God. If the dead be raised, you can move forward. If cancer can be healed, you can move forward. If the dead can be raised, you can forgive. And I speak life over you now, in this place now, life, future, forward. God's assignment didn't change. Come on, divorcees, hurting people, relationships, jobs, choices. Oh God, we all have a host of them. Lift your hands right now and say, I'm forgiven by the grace of God. Now come on. It's no longer my regret. I'll no longer live backwards. I'm forgiven. Father, now in the name of Jesus, I release the strength of God upon your people. I had a bump in the road, but he still says, move forward. Oh, God. I need to know if there's any forward people in the room and on the screen. Come on, all forward people. I want you to lift your hands, but just lean forward just a little bit. So that's where I'm going. I'm moving forward. I prophesy forward to you. Maybe it's time to just start over, try something new, but forward. Forward, daughter, just forward. Come on, I need forward people to just wave their hand forward. Just forward, just wait. I'm moving forward, I'm moving forward. Still a prophet inside of me, forward. Still a business in me, forward. Come on, forward, forward, forward. New projects in you, forward. A new anointing, forward. Oh, come on, forward. I need all forward people. There you go. Come on, elders. Come on, y'all. Do what Dave is doing. And while you listen, we got to go. But come on, just continue to worship. We got to go. We're going to get off the screen. Something's happening inside of this room that we just can't let God go because he ain't let us go. Let me tell you what I need you to do. I need you to get your tithe and your seed ready. I'm asking every person. I've got to go to Africa. I've got to go to Memphis to be with my friend. I'm going to give him a great seed. I need every person that can, without liberty, get your tithe ready, but sow an extra $100 seed so that I can plant to the prophet. So because some of the things that he has declared over our house is beginning to happen. Come on, I need you to lift your hands right now. Lift those hands and worship now. Get your seed ready, your tithe for this house, your offering, all those things. But I need you to get an extra $100 seed. My information is on the screen. They're going to put it on the screen. And I need you to sow that extra $100 so that we can sow like never before to the people who have been planning into this house the word of the Lord, prophecy that is coming to pass and being fulfilled now. Get your seed ready. Get your seed ready. We're going to pray for some people inside of the sanctuary. We're going to let you go, but we're going to get our seed ready. Get that seed ready now. Come on, get that seed ready. And as you're getting your seed ready, we are moving forward. No longer living backwards.
You made all things new. Yes, you made all things new, and I will.
Where you going?
Follow you forward.
Everybody in the sanctuary, point your finger forward. Come on.
Oh, you made all things new. Yes, you made all things new, and I will follow you.
Where you going? Come on.
Forward.
Come on, you got to say it with an attitude. Come on.
Oh, you made
Get that seed ready.
all things new. Yes, you make all things new, and I will follow you forward.
Tell somebody I'm going forward.
Oh, you make all things new. Yes, you make all things new, and I will follow you forward. Oh, you make all things new. Yes, you make all things new, and I will follow you forward. Oh, you make all things new.
Come on, sing it with us.
You make all things new, and I will follow you forward.
Listen, I need you to get your seed ready. Lift this seed up before the Lord. All of my Rhema friends and partners, you do not have to do Eventbrite for November the 14th. I'm welcoming anybody that wants to come, as long as you have your mask or double mask and you're willing to take your tent when you walk in the door. I need you to be here. We have a guest that's coming to share with us the word of the Lord. You don't want to miss this celebration because it's going to be a prophetic time of celebration of what God is doing and the new things he's going to be doing amongst us. Fresh and very real. So join me. I want to see you. Come. Double mask. Come. If that helps you feel safer, take your tent when you walk in the door, and let's see what the Lord will do. Amen. Get that seed ready right now. Get that seed ready. We're not just passing by the seed time because the seed is so important. Amen. How many know your seed is important? Yes. Lift that seed before the Lord. Repeat after me. This is my seed. Inside of my seed is my harvest. If I sow a seed, I can look for my harvest. Amen. Keep that seed up. I'm going to pray over your seed. Father, in Jesus' name, for the seed sower, bless their lives. Bless their coming in and coming out. Bless them in the field. Bless them in the city. Bless their jobs. Bless the elevations and the promotion. Father, let new homes come out of this. Let new opportunities come out of this. New contracts for the entrepreneur. For every seed sower who's an entrepreneur, God's going to shift your business and do something special in the life of your business. Father, let businesses come. Let people come. Let new contracts come to your people. Those who are entrepreneurs, who are employees, let elevation come to them as they rise in new and fresh way. God, there is an offer they're about to give you, Brother Austin. I just saw it. You came to me like a clear. They're about to offer you something. Keep doing what you're doing. They're about to offer you an elevation in the school system. Father, we thank you for it now. And we bless you, and we thank you for this opportunity to give in Jesus' name. Listen, we got to go, and we say amen. We got to go. We're out of time, but not out of words. You don't want to miss the next few weeks. We're going to continue to talk about how to walk into your future out of regret. We love you. We'll see you next time. Like and share. We're so awful glad that you joined us from all over the place in Jesus' name. We'll see you next time. Hallelujah.